there was a new generation of people coming through. I was certainly not unique. There was Wagner, the writer, co-creator of Judge Dredd. There was Gerry Finley-Day, who was the creator with Dave Gibbons of Rogue Trooper. And there were several of us who really saw the potential and wanted to change the industry. And we were able to do this not least because the previous generation was pretty fed up. Comics were in free fall. They were in rapid decline. And there was a lot of defeatism in the air. A defeatism which actually I recognize today. I hear the same kind of voices. Oh, it's not working. They're all, it's all going to pot and so on. And this was happening in the 70s. And then along came Gerry Finley-Day and created a girls' comic called Tammy. And it was a huge seller. It did really well. And myself and John Wagner became involved with Tammy. And really from Tammy, various other comics followed. But it starts with Tammy. And it was and is known as a comic revolution. And it definitely was. You have to separate comics from before that era and say they're really something other. But from Tammy, they were, if you like, working class girls' comics. And they were great. And I would say many of the stories in Tammy are still pretty strong today and will still work today. And that led to Jinty, to Misty, and on the boys' side it was battle, action, and ultimately 2000 AD. But it all came out of Tammy, of saying, let's have a new way of looking at things. So there was a gap for, new blood and new attitudes. And whereas comics had previously been in decline, suddenly sales went up again. And boys' comics were in an even worse situation. It's worth remembering that girls' comics outsold boys' comics by about 2-1. Now, the reason they're not around anymore today is entirely down to male attitudes. They got pushed to one side because, if you like, Fandom took over comics, which I think is a great shame.